Beep, 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 beep. A Radio Stat Zero broadcast. Well, hello. Hello once again. It's Friday. It's about 10 after 1 my time. And I usually don't stream on Fridays, but I just so happen to have a day off today. So why not? Not going to do it at night, mind you, because Friday nights here in this corner of our comics is very packed. You got the Diaz brothers. You got geez, I can't even think of all the one. I know it kicks off with like the TGIF with the Diaz brothers with their show. But then you get is Incendiary on Fridays? I don't remember. So we're gonna go ahead and just do a prompt stream once again. Pro tip: when you're streaming, don't start off streaming before you're just drinking eggnog before you start streaming, because it leaves a coating. So I'm drinking tea. A little bit of honey in it. Melt that down. Keep the throat not sore. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe yesterday I did 2.5 hours of talking, and I was all right. I didn't feel like it was too sore. So let's see here. Okay, so this first prompt, we're going to do 2 of them like we try to do, is from Piper. And the word is strike. The key word is strike. So what do we do here? We could do somebody getting hit. We could do something with a match. We could do like a baseball situation. Let's do something kind of cartoony, I think. Try a bowling pin. Nice big expression. It's kind of like a bird, doesn't he? You're gonna have to. Hey, Marcus, welcome to the nest. Welcome to the nest. The prompt today is strike. Aaron was shadow banned yesterday. Really? Somebody told me that on yesterday's stream, and as of yesterday, he wasn't showing up on the main page, which I knew, but you could still search. I wonder if that's the problem. You could still search it, and it would come up. I have to wonder. Let me see. No, you're right. He is now completely removed from the whole thing. He was searchable yesterday, which sucks because Aaron didn't do anything wrong. But I mean, that's the crappy thing is that's Indiegogo's prerogative. They want to Oh, you can hear me. That's good. Or I can't hear you. Hold on a second. Am I good? I should be good. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm registering. Just making sure that's not a typo and you can hear me. There we go. All right. Not muted. There we go. Yeah, we're good. I think what I need to do is give this a little bit of a tilt. But yeah, I kind of wonder if this is going to eventually push, the likes of Aaron and Shane and whatnot away from Indiegogo, just because of this stuff where they're really doing nothing wrong, but Indiegogo is kind of cutting them out, right? But then that's the problem where they talked about like that's a spot for people to go, and it's an easy area to be at, right? And Fund My Comic it's not quite like to where people trust it quite yet. There've been some stuff funded on there, but for the most part, Fund My Comic is still starting up. So I think the bigger guys they're scared to be on it. Except for Kelsey. And Mike Barron's done it, Kelsey's done it, Reenie's done it. But the big, like people have yet to do it. And I wonder if they ever will. I guess it all kind of boils down to if Kelsey and Reenie do, they fulfill, they get their money, everything goes, and maybe if they see some growth on the next one. That could make all the difference if they see some growth, but I don't rightly know where that's going to end in terms of creators getting off that platform because it doesn't suit them. Especially like when you look at Kickstarter. And like I've said before, I'm no huge Kickstarter person. Yeah, he's already $45,000 over. I know that's a good first day. But I mean, as far as Kickstarter goes, Zach, I think, who got kicked off, he got back on, and I think he ran a campaign there. So it's it's. Of course, I did see the new guy that's running the comics division, and I don't mean to judge a book by its cover, but he doesn't seem like the type that would care much for many of the people outside of like the like for the left. Very like Pringles can looking fellow, got the mustache, so I don't know, not gonna judge, but I guess it's got to be frustrating for Fund My Comics, like having this platform specifically for reasons like this, and nobody really taking them up on it. Yeah, Kelly Jones, I noticed. Yep, Barron does that, and I kind of wonder. I haven't looked at his stuff on Kickstarter. I wonder how well it is. It does for him. And Kelly Jones, the Dracula book is doing really well, and I'm still debating on whether or not I want to grab that. I like Kelly Jones a lot, but I can only back so dang many things. And you've got guys like Graham's just opened. I mean, not Graham. Andy's gonna do art book here soon. I just backed a bunch on Aaron's. Billy, I'm sure, is going to start up pretty soon here with another She entry. for the modern, era stuff. It's just so much to back. But it's great. That's not a bad problem to have. Speaking of bad problems, I was looking at Twitter today, or X, whatever you're going to call it. I'm the same way. I can't back all the things Marcus says. Yeah. I was looking at, so Amanda was in, our pal Amanda. She was in a antique shop looking at comics, and they had stuff like, from what she showed, a couple like New 52 Aaron things, X-Men 1, stuff like that. And she was like, oh man, if only I knew something about this stuff. And it got me thinking, like, as a new person to comics, where do you start? Well, wait, what was that? Billy isn't going to do a new She until the spring? Good. That makes me happy. I could save up a little money. Yeah, I sat and thought about, like, where would a new person even start? Because when you look at the advertising for some of these comic books, I'm not a giant fan of how they do it. Like, you've got somebody that's never done a comic book before. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about, and they say, this is the best friggin' comic book ever made. You've never seen any comic books like this before. I'm not a fan of that marketing because, especially for a person that has never done work or done any work before, it's probably not true. Amanda, welcome to the nest. I saw you didn't get that X-Men book, which is okay. Don't worry about it because, honestly, it ends on a cliffhanger. And I think that particular arc is 2 or 3 issues long. So you'd have to go track down like issues 1 through 3, 1 through 4 to kind of get the full story. So, you're okay. You're all right. You didn't, but I think this crowdfunding thing is probably one of the best things you could possibly, for a new person, they can, personally, my advice is just, anywhere you see a comic that looks like it's interesting to you, start with that, whether it's manga, whether it's Euro, whether it's US. And then, if you kind of like it, but you think, oh, I wish I had something like, I really love sci-fi. I want a sci-fi kind of thing. And then, you can do a little wormhole kind of rabbit hole situation. But that's always the hard thing when you're saying, like, asking recommendations or something from people that are really, really big into comics. They give like this like, oh my gosh, you got to go with, and they go through these really obscure things or just like really inaccessible type stuff. And of course, if you don't like the recommendation, sometimes people are so dang passionate that they start like shunning you, which I think is really stupid too. Because at that point, people are just going to be like, well, I guess, I don't really need this. And that's not going to grow anything. That's what comics desperately needs right now is new readers at this point. So, but me, when I got into comics, it was honestly my brother that I was 3 or 4 years old, and he was big into comics, and he showed me all kinds of stuff. And that kind of set me on a path. So, but for people that are just getting into it, I would recommend full stories, not just, like part 3 of 7, because it's going to be it's not, if you're a little kid just looking at the drawing and stuff like that, it's different. But if you're really looking for some entertainment, you got to kind of tread carefully. So a graphic novel, maybe, or a one and done issue, great place to start. You open it up and you see to be continued, unless you feel like that's more for, like, once you get into the hobby, you can start tracking down full stories and having fun doing that. But I think the one and dones, the self-contained stuff, is the best for newer people. I just posted the first page of Old Rawhead, a campfire story I adapted like 15 years ago. Really? Even lettered it? Hand letter it? Or computer letter it? I'm trying to get better at hand lettering. I mean, like, that's... I used to do hand lettering, and I looked back on it, and let me tell you something. It's rough. My old comic strips, it was... I was being naive when I posted them. I'm glad I did, don't get me wrong, but they are rough. But without that, I wouldn't have the skills I had today. I wouldn't have the confidence. So sometimes you just got to walk in there and own it. Ooh, hand lettered. Good for you, dude. I want to learn some more about hand lettering. For sure. More old school skills, the better. I've been noticing there have been a lot of comic book, like, you know, people that have been in the comic books a long time and legends, like, just falling down dead lately. Like, that's knowledge gone. You know, like, never mind the fact that somebody lost a family member, and that's terrible too. But I mean, just to the world of comics, that's, you know, that's valuable knowledge that's never going to come back. So it's a loss. It's a loss to entertainment, but comics right now is on a downward slope. People are going to have to figure things out all over again. Like, reinvent it when it's actually been around forever. It'll be crazy to see the kids work things out for themselves and be like, oh my gosh, when this was something that was done in like the 60s. And they just never knew it. So here we go. We got a striking pin for today's prompt. Strike. It's not something you might think people to do. I usually try to go like with an unexpected kind of something with these. It just makes it more fun. I have the wild eyes. We are sick and tired of balls being thrown at us. Why does no one ever use this as game pieces in a board? So what if it's our only reason for being? Yeah. Watched Kelsey's stream today with Narwhal on it. Got me all excited about drawing. See, I see Kelsey, he's doing more like animation. And even though I dabble in it a little bit, I think I've been using animation as a tool to get better for my comics, not necessarily to draw to get better at animation, because it's very time consuming. And that time I could be spending animating something, which takes a long time. When you know what you're doing, you know, we're talking weeks for a couple of minutes. Of course, when you don't know what you're doing, all the longer. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I'd love to, and maybe I'll mess around with it a little bit, but yeah, maybe I'd mess around with it a little bit, but once I really knew how to draw, but I mean, drawing has to be the focus. All right. Marcus says, I was working during a stream. Noon isn't the best. Yeah, I try not to go on too early. I used to do 11:30 to 12:30, But Kelsey kind of started streaming, and I figured, shoot, I'd like to watch that. And 11:30 to 12:30 is a weird friggin' time anyway, so maybe I'll switch it. Usually from around anywhere from 1 to 3 is kind of where I tend to look at on my days off. Non-days off, it's after 8. That's just kind of how it is. I come home from work, want to hang out with my wife. We watch TV, we eat dinner, we talk. And then, she goes to sleep somewhere between 8 and 10. So I have, time around then to do that. Much as I love streaming, you gotta have priorities, and marriage is a priority. I want to hang out with my wife too. So we like to do this when she's at work. Yeah. What are we at? 21 minutes. Very nice. Got to start keeping track of it because, we're going to eventually get to that point where it starts reminding me that, like, hey, you're almost done with your time here, pal. I think I got about 9 hours left after this half an hour here, but, nevertheless, I suppose I could go and pay for it. But personally, I don't know if it's worth that just yet. If I've got like a lot of people that are watching and they want to see more of this stuff, then I suppose that's, we can think about it. But when we're in this building phase, sometimes restriction is exactly what you need to build. You got to think about how you can creatively spend that time. Think about all those movies that you really love that had low budgets, and then the director goes up to a higher budget movie and it's just not very good, and you kind of go, what the heck happened? I like to think of like Stephen Sommers. Stephen Sommers is one of those dudes for me. Like, he makes Deep Rising. Really like Deep Rising. Then he makes The Mummy. Decent budget. Good movie. Then he goes and he does like G.I. Joe. Bigger budget. Not a great movie. I'm not sure what he's... and then Van Helsing too. It's all right. Not my favorite movie. But he worked really, really well on smaller budget stuff. All about figuring out how to economically get that money spent. But when you have so much money, you can just throw some, or like you have a problem, you just throw a ton of money at it, and it seems dead and lifeless. You think about like Michael Bay's Transformer movies. At least I do. And some of the craziest, most interesting B movies are the ones that stick in your head. A lot of John Carpenter's earlier stuff didn't cost very much. And I think that's the same with entertainment. Holy kitty cats, look at that. Charlie's London, welcome to the nest. Good to see you. Seen you in here in a while. Nice to see you. So I think that's kind of the way with StreamYards here. I'll avoid paying for it when I'm in my building phase because it keeps me kind of creative. It lets me know when to stop. It lets me know when to kind of keep going. And as for right now, I mean, I can kind of keep going. Like yesterday, like I was ready to hang it up. I thought, hey, maybe these people are getting bored. But the chat was like, no, keep going. We wanna sit and chat for another half an hour. Fine with me. Fine with me. Speaking of Charlie's London, want to just go have a quick look and see what that campaign's sitting at. This is not a shill. This is my own personal curiosity. Ooh. Let's have a look here. 27,801. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Still a whole bunch of stuff ready to go. Yan got himself 9 beers. That's good to see. 9 craft beers, mind you. Yeah. That's good to see. Charlie says, I'm on the train on the way home from a Halloween extravaganza at the Tower of London. Still hobbling. Work my stick, but I'm all good. Still hobbling work my stick, but I'm all good. Well, I'm glad you're good. I'm glad to hear from you, Charlie. It's always good to see you. Halloween extravaganza at the Tower of London, huh? Wow. Seems like a crazy place to have, given its history. Seems like a crazy place for a Halloween bash. I suppose you just scare the kids. You just tell them about the, like what really happened there. Ha! Oh, hobbling. Yeah, with. Okay, yeah. I get you. Not bad. Let's see. We'll give him he's going to be jumping a little bit, so we'll give him a little bit of a shadow under here. Bring this down. Add a little depth to this. There we go. Now I guess I gotta do something with this stick, don't I? Once again, this is Strike, as suggested by Piper, of used to be graded 0.5, now of her own show or her own channel. Haven't seen her around in a while. I think she's been doing some stream work on the CG slums over there with like Dark Gift and those guys. I miss so dang much anymore, Don't get the time to watch the streams as much as I used to. There you go. Just kind of have to buckle down and learn what I can and get better at this stuff. Part of me, it's just, like it's a time spent on this, could be time spent drawing and learning. And another part of me is very much like it's about time I took this seriously, got better, not only for better comics and stuff like that, but because sometimes what I see from like people entertaining others is like I don't know, they're making a lot of decisions I wouldn't make personally. And I think what would I do differently? How would I do this differently? And I say, well, maybe I'll give it a try. Like, why not? Not see if I can do this show thing. I've been watching other people do it so long that I figure I'll give it a shot too. And I think not having a campaign really helps, in this situation, because it's like there's nothing There's nothing I'm really asking of anybody. I'm just kind of here to chat, here to talk. You don't have to worry about me trying to sell you my books yet. I don't know. Sometimes the chat gets all in there like, when are you going to have a book? I got to tell them I don't know. I don't know if I'm big enough for that yet to be able to justify the price. But one thing's for sure, one of these days I'm going to get it good enough to where I can pull off a Ken Rockefort style stream and just not even talk at all. Just draw amazing stuff. Probably not. You know what I feel like I got to get? Well, I don't need to see the trailer a billion times. Yeah. You know how I'd probably market my book if I were doing a book? I would probably just, different random times and post, I would just release a panel of the book, something kind of cool to look at. It's like when you see a movie and, a lot of times the trailer is just taking pieces from the movie, right? And, it looks great, so you want to see that in the movie. I kind of wonder if it wouldn't work to just have a cut out a little panel, screen cap a little tiny piece of a panel, and just share that. Share a few pieces of the panel to get people, or the actual comic to get people excited, instead of a trailer, right? You can make a thing out of it, like panel of the day, and then give a non kind of spoiler panel, but show a little bit more. Let people try to piece things together, maybe get them talking. Nobody talks about trailers. They just kind of go, oh yeah, cool trailer, nice music, I like the music. Maybe give them some breadcrumbs to kind of try to follow a trail. You know what I mean? That might be interesting. Different take. But everybody's so concerned with I can't show anything, any spoilers whatsoever. They don't want to show even a single panel that won't give anything away. Just, let's say, show a panel or two. You don't have to show it in context, and that's the important part. It's not in context. Give something, for people to chew on. That's what I say. Maybe I'm crazy. Or maybe I'm a marketing genius and I don't even know. So far, so good. I used to do a bunch of the Charlie's London cards, where you'd have a foreground thing and then a square and then something kind of going on in the background. I always liked that. I always thought it was kind of a fun, engaging thing to do. People seem to like it too, I guess. She sold a bunch of them, so I mean, people must like them. Including them in those packs and stuff. It's kind of crazy to think that some of my original art's sort of all around the world. Even if people don't know my real name, it's sort of a comfort if they like the card. Appreciate that. Yeah. That's how I mean, going back to what you were saying, Marcus, about not needing to see the trailer a billion times. That's one of those things that I really liked about the chat. watching that show is, and I think Vanessa's right. You do need a spot where you don't necessarily need to worry about shilling. And I try to use that as not to rip them off at all. I just try to use that as a template for this show too, just to have a spot where people can just sort of laugh and hang out, talk about comics, listen to somebody babble about comics if they want. Sometimes, that's another weird thing. Like sometimes people don't really want to participate. They just sort of want to veg back or sit back and, listen to somebody talk. I notice, because there are quite a few people that are just fine catching replays to listen to while they draw or while they do some kind of work, or even just to kind of kick back in the chair and listen, like old radio. Sometimes I try to simulate that. Get an old radio show, and I'll put it on like a some sort of a speaker or whatever like that, and then kind of turn the lights down dim and listen to an old radio show, because a lot of the old ones have the commercials built in, so you're sitting there listening to these like Lipton tea commercials, like, oh my gosh, I've just come home from work and boy, I'm thirsty. Oh, do you want some Lipton tea? Lipton tea, we don't have any of that. Sure do. I just got it from the store today, stuff like that. Just real weird stuff. Historically, it's pretty cool to listen to, but hey, it's Bristolian Dave. Good to see you. Welcome to the nest. Yeah, sometimes I will simulate like an evening at night, an evening with like some old time radio. Just kind of like imagine what it would have been like for that to be TV. Listen to like Abbott and Costello or Burns and Allen, or I don't know, X-1, Lights Out, The Phantom, or not The Phantom, The Shadow, that kind of stuff. Just kind of close your eyes and listen. Marcus Killiger says there's also a place where fans can talk. There also has to be a place where fans can talk about the campaign without insulting their creators. I absolutely agree. I think, was it on the chat at some point I was talking about this, or maybe it was here. But I think that fans have to be able to give their honest to goodness opinion about something without getting kicked out of it, feeling like they're going to get kicked out of a community or a channel, like they're going to get de-wrenched if they've got something or whatever. Oh, what's the topic we're discussing? We're kind of all over the place today, Dave, but earlier on it was where's a good place to start if you're new with comics. Just now here we're talking about like the importance of having spots for fans to just talk about the things that they like and they don't like about comics, or what's going on with creators and things like that. Like not in a lynch mob kind of way, but yeah. And there used to be a lot more of those. I think when in 2020 when I came on, there used to be a lot more channels. CG UK started out that way. When I found them, like I think they were down to they started out with 10. I went back and watched a whole bunch of old episodes of theirs to get to know them. They started out with like 10 people. Then it got kind of whittled down to like the core of 5 or 6. See, there was Charlie and Yan, Peep, Chub, Wooly, Love Pigeon was there off and on. I think Michael was there for a bit. I think he kind of went. It wasn't really his thing. He didn't want to do it. Is that it? I feel like that's it. Peep, Chub, Charlie, Yan, Wooly, Mark, Kami Mark. Yeah. And then there was, it was them for a little while. And they really just talked about like comics, what's your favorite villain, things like that. It was really refreshing. I liked it. Then they started making their books, and gradually became about that too, which is nothing wrong with that. But I found it in a different light. Marcus says, I love Aaron, but his choice for guest artists isn't going to make him money. His choice for guest artists. He's got guest artists going on? Who's that? Bristolian Dave says, we CGUKers got caught up in real life once the lockdowns and pandemic ended. I understand that. I don't mind. I do miss listening to some of the conversations. I will not mind telling you that, but I totally get it. Yeah, a lot changed for me too once the lockdowns and stuff ended. So I wasn't able to sit down and watch as many. I used to watch at least 3 or 4 streams a day, and some of them I'd have to watch like on 2 times just so I could get through everything. It's a lot easier when they were only an hour or 2 hours versus like 6. Well, let's see here. I'm going to get another one of these. Ooh. In the Kit Carter softcover, he's got a different artist? What? Or are you talking like an inker? Huh. That's crazy. I backed the Kit Carter softcover. I hope it's good. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, the cover. Gotcha. The cover. Yeah. I saw that. I noticed it wasn't Aaron. That was kind of weird that, he doesn't just do the same cover for both of them, but I guess, it's like a variant situation right there. Yeah. Well, I still backed it partially because I just couldn't afford that hardcover, much as I wanted to grab it. Couldn't do it. I think we'll leave this one silent and not put a blurb on it. I kind of like that. Bristolian Dave says it started with Carry On CGUK, which were the group you said, yep. Then me and the Bargain Bin, yep. Bargain Bin are still going, but streams in general are very sporadic. Yeah. Dave also says, I don't even have time to do a Monday Bargain Bin show anymore due to work commitments. Aaron's too humble. He's really humble. He's a super humble guy. Okay, let me just back out of this one real quick, and I want to save it quick. Can you believe this one was the 24th prompt? Strike. All right, so that's strike. Now we got to get us a new one because we got one more to do. So this one's going to be a little harder, right? This one is Wolfpack, suggested by Pops. And I feel like this is one I should have absolutely laid out before I started the show, because these can get tricky. So I guess what we'll do is we'll try just the little one here, see what we can do. We'll try like maybe some Milt Call style wolves if we can. Okay, so let me get but you guys really get to see. Yeah, that hardcover is a lot. Marcus Kilgore says Kelly Jones hardcover is 45 with more pages. Yeah, but I think Kelly Jones is actually standard comic book size. Am I right? Aaron's going like Euro style, so his pages are going to be bigger. So I guess, that's something. Right? It's got to count for something. Kelly's book does look good. Yeah, it's got that old school coloring, like sort of like the reminiscent of Red Rain, and that kind of coloring. That's really cool to see. Kind of bringing some of that 90s Kelly Jones. I wonder if that colorist worked with him before, or who's doing the coloring. But it does look very much like the Red Rain stuff. Ha! Bristolian Dave says Aaron's going proper size European A4. Yes, he is. I was surprised to see that too. I'm really excited about it because I think that could open up. Hopefully, you know, more people. Yeah, he said 8.5 by 11, which I believe is A4. But yeah, I think if he does really well, if he does like successful with that, hopefully we'll see maybe some more creative styles. I'd love to see some more Euro size books. I really like that size. I've only got like 3, maybe 4 books that are in that size, but I really like it. Yeah. Let's see here. Maybe I'll have those ears a little closer together. A little fluffy. Yep, same size as the Marvel graphic novels of the 80s too. The magazine style ones. Yep, Rampaging Hulk and Dracula and that kind of thing. Absolutely. I'm really excited about it. I've been wanting to see people try different styles, or I mean different formats for a long time now. Long time. And it looks like we're finally going to get it. So, I don't know, maybe with that size difference, it'll kind of make up for the smaller page count. Let's see here. This is tricky doing this kind of thing in front of you guys, you know. Drawing these animals because, you know, they's tough sometimes. Ha! No pressure, Stato. Thanks, Dave. Thanks a lot. That's okay. I like the challenge. I have this guy like looking like, am I stepping on your toes by being here? Yeah. This other dude's just like, Carl, I want to be alone. I don't want your stupid face around me. Carl's like, hey, we've been brothers forever, and like here you are all on your own, and I mean, what the heck, man? I don't know if I like that muzzle there. That does not look. I don't look good. Start it one more time. Take 2. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna go with. My goodness, it's got kind of a. That's wolfy enough, I guess. It looks more like a, you know, like a regular dog, but I'm gonna give him some personality. And then let's see here. Can we get like a howler maybe back here? This is one of those things that like I kind of pride myself on learning a little bit, because so many people do there we go. so many people do like women and superheroes and like muscular men and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, I can do that stuff okay, but not a lot of people can do animals really, really well. So it's one of those things where like, it's become kind of my expertise. Animals. Maybe I should have this out there like this. He's just like stepping carefully, you know, like. Yeah. Yeah. It's not so bad. You gotta have that. Yeah, it looks like an okay wolf pack. I'll just maybe I'll just do like a moon. What do you think? Not bad? Got some good bones to it. Okay for a self-taught artist. Doesn't know anything about drawing. Maybe. All right, let's get some proper pencils on this son of a gun. You know what? I'm ready to change the song. There we go. Have those weird little like eyebrow kind of things there dogs have. There we go. Those ears look a little more like a fox, I think. Like a coyote or something. I don't know. He's been through a day, man. Maybe I'll, yeah. Let's see here. He's got like this and then this. You gotta have a big dog neck going through here. Geez, I feel like right now, like just narrating what I'm doing, I almost feel like a sling blade, kind of like, gonna have this here dog. He's he's the mean dog right here. Drawing him. You got to shoot for like hypnotizing, you know, when you're doing these. If you're not talking, you gotta at least be hypnotizing people with your art. Okay. Let's draw this. Marcus Killer says he saw a new Shane. What does that mean? He's got another character in the wake of all this in the wake of all this pumpkin business. Wow, I saw a clip of Captain Chokeout squishing that pumpkin, and I gotta wonder. I mean, like, for a dude that like seems to work out as much as he does, having as much trouble squishing that pumpkin, Shane couldn't last year at least. I gotta wonder how Mandy's doing that. Is she really that strong? That's my question. Yeah. There we go. These are like some milk call Don Bluth like wolves, I guess. It's like some Jungle Book or some All Dogs Go to Heaven. Of course, it's rough and it's right in front of you guys, so what do you want from me? I'm only faking it like I know how to draw, okay? Just getting better like the rest of yous. It's kind of funny how you balance like getting, building your platform on something that in a time when see here. Okay, I see what I got to do. In a time when, like anything you say can and will be used against you in a public court of law. Oh, what's this? Angry Shane. He was angry over the Amalgam comics of the 90s with Aaron, Malin, and Choka. He was angry over that. Really? Like that it was a thing or that it didn't continue? Like, that's interesting. I think I've seen Angry Shane before. You don't see it much. You usually see Spiraling Shane. You don't see Angry Shane, but I think I've seen Angry Shane before. Interesting. All right, let's try putting a little ink on this. Huh. Must have been on the, Ballers Jack show? I don't confess. I don't really watch those. Don't really watch those. I'll be honest. And this is just personal me. This is not condemning them or anything like that, but must have been probably 20. Oh, that it was stupid. It was funny. Oh, I see what yeah, it must have been like 2021, maybe late 2022. There would be times when I'd wake up in the morning, right? And I want to see everybody succeed. Like, I really do. I wake up in the morning and I would say, oh, hey, what streams happened, And I would see like a situation where like drunk Shane would, Shane would get drunk, or not just Shane, like just there'd be a drunk stream and a bunch of people would be drinking and they'd be oh, it was Malin helping out. Okay. I get what you're saying. I think he was, I think I maybe caught just a couple minutes because I was on my way to bed. I'm glad he helped him out. But yeah, it would be a situation where there'd be a drunk stream and I'd get on and I'd be like, well, what kind of streams did I miss, And something crazy would happen, like the crazy. It's one thing when they're just having fun and kind of falling out of their chair, but it's another thing when like it's something that it could be damaging. You know what I mean? Like very embarrassing kind of thing. The sort of thing that gets a stream deleted and maybe a creator apologizing a little bit that they went too far. And I remember getting kind of angry just because it was like you're at a time when you kind of got to watch, you got to do the right stuff so that you can kind of progress. And you're getting all of these clips, these like clippable things. Like, it doesn't really matter. And then those clips are used to say, oh yeah, this whole, movement kind of sucks, and they're immoral, and they're kind of like frat people. And I remember just kind of getting angry that it was like just like crapping away opportunity, at the time. And everybody's still here, everybody's fine. But at the time, I just remember thinking like, it's just squandering whatever chance, some might have. And even like if the bigger guys like are fine and they recover from it, like the smaller guys that are associated, that could dry a lot for them up. I remember just being like really annoyed. So I figured it's probably best policy just to not really watch that stuff and let, the creators do what they're going to do. When it's not going to really stop a lot of stuff, but it sometimes did make me kind of, annoyed. So, and this is not me saying I don't like these creators. It's just saying sometimes the actions were ones that I would rather not witness. I didn't want to know some of these creators in that light, like some of the things that they were saying when they were drunk. Oh, and that's why Malin was mad about the Tampa. Yeah. So that was my kind of watershed moment where I realized that I didn't want unlimited access to these creators. I didn't want to know them in that way. Like it's one thing if you're talking to them behind the scenes, and you understand like they're going to do a certain thing, maybe if you don't agree with it, but I mean, at least like they might not be sincere. It's for entertainment that goes wrong, which is bad enough. But I just decided like I don't want to know that much about these people after they get drunk and they just spill a bunch of stuff that's kind of embarrassing. The kids would say cringe. And rarely ever did it have anything to do with comics or, propping comics up, making comics better. So it was something that I could quite easily cut out, and I got a little more time left back in my day. So I went ahead and I used that time to practice drawing, instead of listening to these streams and getting angry about them. I went a different route, and I'm glad I did, honestly. I still like some of these people. The only problem is, when things happen and you're not watching every single stream, you tend to not know exactly what the feck is going on. Because everybody's all making videos and up in arms about stuff, and you're just going like, whoa. Kind of like Kelsey, like, wait, what are we talking about here? Marcus says, I don't watch Jack or Ballers much, and I don't think they drink as much now. And you're probably right. I want to hope, and I want to think that there was a point where it started to hurt their bottom line. Potential backers, maybe. But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched them in a while, so. But I haven't heard about anybody getting like fall down drunk lately. So, and that was the thing. It was never really about drinking. It was about just like some of the things said when they got really, really bad. And I've known some alcoholics in my time. Not saying that they're alcoholics. The King's fake drinking. Is that right? Is it they fake drink? I've known some alcoholics in my time, and not saying they're alcoholics, but like when it gets to that point, it's not fun at all. And I never liked that. So that was my cue to go. I wasn't going to go in there and say like, you guys shouldn't do this. This isn't what we do or anything. I just figure like, hey, maybe this isn't where I belong right now. I didn't fit in. That's what at the end of the day, I felt like I didn't fit in during those streams. Like, I wasn't part of the crowd because that wasn't for me. So you can only do that so much before you kind of start going off in different places to either be alone and just kind of create, or like wait around for people that want to sit and talk comics or process and stuff, or you just you go off on other things because it's sort of like that what do you call it, like the frog in a boiling water kind of situation. Like, if you kind of come in and you notice it, you can get out. But if you've been with it for a long time, and around 2020s everybody was in it, and then you just kind of steep in it, you get used to it. But then one day you wake up, or at least I did, and realize, like, this isn't exactly how it was when I started. Much different. It's much different. So I went and found other things to do. Marcus Killiger says, I agree. I used to really like Gabe's Players Club. Well, I suppose that kind of turned into to Graybeards, didn't it? Like, a good chunk of that cast migrated over. So that's we sort of get that same thing, I guess, through Graybeards. Because I'd watch Players Club from time to time. I believe Gary was on there. I believe, and Aaron was. Was Dave? I can't remember if he was or not. But I remember vaguely watching that. I think it was the only one I really did watch. I wasn't really for the double impact that he and Shant do. Although I do love action movies. I just watched a couple episodes and I was like, Oh, I forgot. Wolves are more like a... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Without Dan Lawless was on there too. I forgot. You're right. Dan Lawless was part of the Players Club. I think that's where I was introduced to him. Maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Good teacher, that Dan Lawless. I've been watching some of his I've been watching some of his tutorial videos, and I like how he explains that stuff. Marcus says they talked about art and artists, and that's what I liked about that show, honestly. Like, we got lots of people that talk about the creators, but not as much the creators' work. Just going on, and it wasn't, if I remember right, it wasn't always about comics either. Like, they do like painters, things like that. I like that. I learned a lot. I found a couple of not only when they did it, but when professionals did it. I found actually a few really good artists that I was introduced to off of those that I never would have thought to look for myself. And then I'd go and maybe find hopefully a little nugget of influence in them. Yeah. Well, is that anything? Okay, we have 1 hour and 8. We're almost done. Almost done. We're gonna just throw some quick fake watercolor on here and call it a day. Wolfpack. That pops. Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna have to just sit down and like do some real thought out stuff with these prompts, not like these like quick drawing fun that I'm having with you guys. Like, I really gotta sit down and like do a well thought out, well compromised kind of draw a book for Narwhal. Oh, I think he's a little more ambitious than I am in his storytelling. Besides, I think he's probably got it. Wish I had time to draw my own book, much less He's got some great ideas, though. I like how Narwhal thinks when it comes to writing. You can tell very much that he's read a lot of books on the subject of storytelling and kind of comprising a story for whatever you're doing. Be fun to talk to, at least. There you go. That's what he did with Kelsey this morning, or this afternoon and stuff, was they were sitting there talking about animation, and I was hooked. That was a great talk. And I've said before, I'm a firm believer in that, like if you study animation and the how they do things real fast and very consistently, like it'll make your comic book work hundreds of times better. You'll be able to do things very quickly and consistently. Firm believer. I'd say these probably qualify under quick sketches. Right? Two of them in an hour. What would you say a quick sketch qualifies as? Would that be like 10 minutes? I'd probably say under an hour for a decent one. Some people take days on this stuff. Hey, Happy Jack Savinka. Welcome to the nest. Keep up the good work. He says, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's go pink. Oh. Oh, what are we missing? Let's get some yellow eyes in here. I don't know. Yeah. Moon. Get back to our mirror layer. Get us a that's good enough, I think, for a quick sketch. Not bad at all. You know what I might actually do? I might actually get me back onto this layer. Give him a little bit more like red eyes. Oop. There we go. What the heck? Give it like a kind of a gray. That's something I always liked about just like real quick watercolor. You'd see like some of these storyboards from like Miyazaki or something like that, and he'd have just these kind of quick drawings, and he would just put some watercolor on it real fast, really fast, just to kind of get the idea of what's going on, Okay, so let's save this real quick as prompt 25. Okay, and with that, think we're probably going to call it a day. Held you guys for a while. You've been kind enough to come and sit with me. Glad draw. And it looks like we've got another day ahead of us. Probably won't be streaming tomorrow because I will be on the chat talking with those fine people about nominations for the first half of nominations for the award show. I believe the next 2 weeks are nominations, and then the award show the week after that. So that's some exciting stuff coming for the chat channel. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you next.